So you're probably wondering to yourself, hey Dusty, why are you even pinning these two together? They don't really have any thematic similarities. Well, my lovely viewer, the answer is very simple. It's because they both have Sung Woo in their names. Yep, that's the reason. Don't think too hard about it. Hello everyone, Dusty here. In this video, I'll be talking about two very powerful characters that have risen in popularity in recent years. Those characters are Sung Jin Woo from Solo Leveling and Sung Wukong from the very popular Chinese mythological story of Journey to the West. You probably know the drill by now, but if you don't, I'll be comparing their stats such as strength, speed, durability, IQ, experience, and their abilities to come to the conclusion on who would win this battle. Before I get to that, however, I need to tell you about their backstories, starting with Sung Jin Woo. Sung Jin Woo is the main protagonist of Solo Leveling. Initially introduced as the weakest hunter in a world where mysterious gates connect Earth to monster-filled dungeons. Known as humanity's weakest E-rank hunter, Jin Woo struggled to survive low-level raids just to pay for his mother's hospital bills and support his younger sister after his father's disappearance. During a catastrophic double dungeon incident, he and his raid party are trapped in a deadly temple filled with powerful statues. After sacrificing himself to save the others, Jin Woo is chosen by a mysterious entity called the System. This grants him a unique ability, unlike other hunters, to power up and to level indefinitely, as if he were a player in a video game. Through relentless training, near-death battles, and gradual uncovering of cosmic forces involving monarchs and rulers, Jin Woo transformed from the world's weakest hunter into the Shadow Monarch and one of the strongest beings in all of existence. In classic 16th century Chinese novel Journey to the West by Wu Shengyan, Sung Wukong, also known as the Monkey King, is born from a magical stone atop the mountain of flowers and fruit, which absorbs the essence of heaven and earth until it cracks open to reveal him. Exceptionally intelligent and fearless, he quickly becomes the king of the monkeys, and driven by a desire to escape death, travels across the world to study Taoist immortality under the sage Shupuhudi. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. Who teaches him the 72 transformations, cloud somersaulting, and other supernatural arts. After acquiring the 13,500th Rin Rui Jingu Bang from the Dragon King's treasury and erasing his name from the Book of Life and Death in the Underworld, Sung Wukong defies heaven itself. Granted a mirror heavenly post, he rebels when insulted, defeats celestial armies, and proclaims himself the great sage equal to heaven. Ultimately, the Buddha subdues him and imprisons him beneath the 5-element mountain for 500 years, setting the stage for his later redemption as the reluctant yet powerful protector of the monk, Tang Zhangsheng, on the sacred pilgrimage to India. Now that you know who these characters are, let's get to the main event. Like I said in the intro, I'll be comparing their stats to come to the conclusion on who would win this fight. Let's begin by talking about the first stat, their strength. Sung Jin Woo is incredibly powerful, not just in his verse, but in all of anime. Now I must state that there are many versions of Sung Jin Woo, but for this video I'll be taking feats from both the light novels and the manhwa to scale him. Jin Woo was able to beat and kill Ygritte the Crimson in a fight, as well as sending Vulcan flying with a single punch. He was also able to beat Thomas Andre to near death, which special authority hunters like Thomas have the power of the entire US military. However, all of those feats are nothing compared to Jin Woo's full power. Jin Woo was able to defeat the insect monarch Quershisha, who could destroy entire planets with her power, or worlds as it's described. Jin Woo's true strength, however, is when he absorbed the powers and legacy of Ashbourne to become the Shadow Monarch. As the Shadow Monarch, Jin Woo is incredibly powerful. In fact, he is the strongest monarch. Jin Woo is stronger than the rulers and the Monarch of Destruction, who were capable of killing the Absolute Being who created the entire solo-leveling multiverse with his own power. The Absolute One is also a part of a race known as the Itarium, who have been stated to create multiple universes and dimensions, which should get them to multiversal ranges of power. However, you can get Jin Woo to higher than even that. There have been statements that Ashbourne had the power to reduce all of creation into an infinite nothingness, erasing everything from existence. Jin Woo absorbed his power and it basically became his own, so Jin Woo should be capable of doing the same thing. So overall, where would he scale? Taking everything he has done, as well as some other statements, Jin Woo should scale to complex multiversal to even outerversal, based on what interpretations you have on the solo leveling cosmology. If it's anything Sun Wukong is known for, it's his incredible strength. First of all, he was capable of defeating all of the deities of heaven alone. Among them included multiple constellations. Wukong was also able to lift the Fruit Flower Mountain, which is the literal center of the universe as it's described, although this is more symbolic than an actual physical center of the universe. The Buddha himself has stated that Wukong is capable of moving entire planets and even stars by himself, which obviously takes a lot of power. Wukong's power was so great that he even scared the dragon gods, who can literally create infinite realms. This gets Wukong to multiversal, but he is way stronger than this. At the end of the Journey to the West story, Wukong was capable of achieving nirvana, promoting him to the title of Victorious Fighting Buddha. This elevated Wukong to a being beyond the cycle of life, death, reincarnation, and even makes him exist above dimensionality. So yeah, this would very easily make Sun Wukong outerversal when it comes to his levels of strength. So who's stronger? Well, both of them are immensely powerful and are far above even multiversal levels of power. However, while it's close, I give the edge to Sun Wukong. This is mainly due to him achieving nirvana, which makes him so ludicrously powerful that he's even above dimensionality and can even before he could contend with divine beings. Sure, Jin Woo could reach outerversal like Wukong can, but it's not as consistent as Wukong's outerversal showings. So, taking that into account, since Sun Wukong has more consistent and very obvious outerversal scalings, he should take the edge. Now, let's move on to the next stat, speed. Sun Jin Woo is just as incredibly fast as he is powerful. Jin Woo is capable of throwing hundreds of blows in a single blink of an eye. He was also able to see multiple bolts of lightning as if they were in slow motion and dodge them pretty easily, a massively hypersonic level speed feat. He has also shown many times that he is able to perception blitz powerful beings like the angel statue. However, his best feats of speed are way past this. He was able to completely blitz John Gui Han, who attacks with what has been stated to be literal beams of light. And he's even far superior than Beirut, who traveled across the entire universe in a span of assumably a few seconds. So yeah, Sun Jin Woo should reach MFTL plus speeds. Sun Wukong is also extremely fast. His most well-known speed feat was when he was able to travel to the very edge of the universe in a single leap This is obviously extremely impressive, yet isn't even his best feat of speed. Sun Wukong is able to travel to the underworld, which has been described as not only being as vast as heaven, but also contains every heavenly body and even galaxies inside of it. This gives Sun Wukong MFTL plus speeds, and this is even before his nirvana. After Sun Wukong achieves his nirvana, Sun Wukong became a Buddha figure, which makes him essentially omnipresent, meaning he is quite literally everywhere all at once. So yeah, I can't really calculate how fast he is because he's quite literally omnipresent, and the laws of speed don't really matter to him. In fact, he doesn't even need to follow the concepts of speed at all. So who's faster? If we aren't talking about his nirvana, then these two would be pretty even in terms of speed. Both are capable of traveling to the edges of their universes in seconds, and other insane feats just like that. However, taking his nirvana into account, Sun Wukong outclasses Jin Wu in literally every single aspect of speed. Think of it like this. While Jin Wu is incredibly fast, he still obeys the laws of speed and still requires some levels of speed to fight. On the other hand, Sun Wukong literally evolved past the need or requirement for speed, for he is literally everywhere all at once. So if that wasn't obvious enough, Sun Wukong takes speed. Now let's talk about durability. Jin Wu has taken powerful blows from incredibly powerful opponents. He has taken blows that could destroy entire mountains, islands, planets, and even universes, and he has also taken attacks from characters similar in power to him and continued fighting. It also helps that Jin Wu has a level of immortality, which would increase his durability. So overall, Sung Jin Wu should have complex and multiversal to a higher end of outerversal levels of durability. Sun Wukong is incredibly hard to put down. Wukong was able to survive an attack that, quote, caused the entire world to tremble and nearly split the universe in half, and end quote. He has also taken blows from beings comparable to him, and even an exact copy of himself pre-Nirvana, but this is still impressive. Wukong also has anywhere from 5 to 9 to potentially even higher layers of immortality, which adds to his difficulty to kill. So overall, Wukong should reach outerversal levels of durability, especially after he gets his nirvana. So who's more durable? Well, both are extremely hard to kill, but Wukong takes the edge. Not only does he have more consistent outerversal feats of durability, especially since I'm talking about his nirvana, but he also has way more layers of immortality than Jin Wu does. So yeah, Wukong takes durability. Now let's move on to the next two stats, IQ and experience. Sung Jin Wu is a very intellectual warrior. Jin Wu has displayed incredible keen instincts and intuition even in stressful situations, his deductions having saved multiple people from certain death. He is also capable of noticing the gaps within a group's ranks, and is capable of deciphering the faults and errors of his comrades' movements and strategies. He has shown to be very analytical and observative, being able to decipher and mirror the techniques of others down to their muscle movements, breathing patterns, and postures, after only a moment of observation. Further into the series, Jin Wu demonstrates the ability to easily predict and counter even the most minute movements of his opponents, sensing both the flow and trajectory of attacks, and he is especially experienced at going up against an overwhelming amount of opponents, even by himself, and could defend and counter 8 weapons being swung at him at once with a single sword, and dodged a nigh undetectable gaps between their attacks. As for experience, he has a lot of it. One such example was when he was able to fight in a war for 27 years straight. So yeah, Sung Jin-woo is not only very intelligent when it comes to combat, but also heavily experienced. Sung Wukong is also an extremely intelligent warrior. Outside of his pure martial arts and fighting capabilities, Sung Wukong has showcased his capabilities of being capable of healing sick people and those who are injured. He has stated himself that he is well versed in the inner workings of heaven and earth, and his pure comprehensive ability allowed him to not only learn the Taoist way of immortality before his peers within a matter of years, but also surpassing Taoist immortals who are thousands, if not more, years old. On top of this, after switching to Buddhism, he ended up mastering the Great Way by the end of his journey, which is considered even more complex and difficult to learn. When it comes to his combat ability and magic in general, he is more proficient at flying than any other gods, with ability to transform into various things, outdoing theirs as well. He is capable of tricking and outsmarting immortals, demons, and gods who have lived for millions of years, both outside and in the midst of combat. He knows practically every method of martial arts and can utilize all sorts of weapons no matter how large or heavy. In fact, he is so well versed in martial arts that he could fight an exact clone of himself to a draw, which I mentioned earlier. That clone had precognition while also instantly knowing about any event that occurs within 1,000 miles of themselves. He is also shown to be a very good leader, teaching an entire army of monkeys how to fight to the extent that they could battle the forces of heaven. As for experience, he is over 900 years old and has been fighting for pretty much his entire life. So who takes the edge? Well, experience would very handily go to Sung Wukong due to his way longer lifespan, but IQ is closer. However, despite that, I'm still going to give the edge to Wukong. Both are extremely intelligent. I just feel like Sung Wukong has slightly better feats. And I forgot to mention this, but after his ascension to Buddha, he achieved omnipotence, which is something Jin Wu never achieved. Meaning that Wukong, after his gaining of nirvana and ascending to the to being the fighting Buddha, he is literally a being who is all-knowing, meaning he knows all things, which, again, is something Sung Jin Woo never did. So, Sung Wukong would take the edge in both stats. But before I come to the verdict on who wins, I need to talk about their abilities. Jin Woo has a lot of abilities, so sit tight. Sung Jin Woo has access to a unique player system, like I mentioned, which lets him level up without limit and increases core stats such as strength, agility, vitality, intelligence, and perception. He can also fully heal upon leveling up, access quests, enter instant dungeons, and use an inventory and shop, which wouldn't really help with this fight, but it's pretty cool. As he grows, he develops overwhelming superhuman strength, speed beyond perception, immense durability, rapid regeneration, enhanced senses, stealth that erases his presence entirely, dagger mastery with techniques like mutilation and dagger rush, and telekinesis through ruler's authority. After inheriting the power of Ashborn, he becomes the Shadow Monarch, gaining shadow extraction to raise the dead. As loyal soldiers, command over a massive, evolving shadow army stored within his own shadow, instant teleportation via shadow exchange, shadow regeneration and preservation, resistance to fear and mental effects, flight and dominion over death itself. By the end of the series, Jin Woo achieves true monarch-level existence, effectively immortal, ageless, and vastly stronger than national-level hunters and even other monarchs, due to him, being the strongest monarch. He can command elite shadows and shadow generals such as Biru, Igris, and Belian, whose powers rival the strongest beings in the world. Following the use of the cup and reincarnation by the rulers, the timeline resets, yet Jin Wu retains his powers and memories, allowing him to eliminate threats before they arise. At this peak, he stands as a god-tier entity with absolute control over shadows, death, with limitless growth and combat power that surpasses nearly every being in his universe. So yeah, he not only has a lot of abilities, but they're actually very useful as well. Wukong also has quite a few abilities. For starters, he can make an infinite amounts of clones of himself or even other people, basically making an infinite army. He can shapeshift, has immense regeneration, shoot lasers from his eyes, jump really far, like when he jumped to the edge of the universe. He can do so much more. I already mentioned it, but Wukong also has a lot of layers of immortality, and he even crossed his name out of the Book of Death, meaning he literally cannot die even if you somehow manage to bypass his immortality. So yeah, Sun Wukong has very broken and a wide variety of abilities, and I didn't even talk about them all. So who wins this fight? Well, these characters are very close in terms of stats, and they have very powerful abilities. Wukong does take the edge in literally every stat, and even more so after his ascension to Buddhahood, where he trumps Jin Wu in literally every possible category. However, despite being a lot stronger, Wukong has no reliable ways to kill Jin Wu, but Jin Wu also has no reliable ways to kill Wukong. So in reality, who truly wins this fight? Well, obviously, this fight is an instance where it wouldn't end in death, considering that's impossible for both of them. There is still a winner, and it's Sun Wukong. While yes, Wukong can't kill Jin Wu, he has other ways to incapacitate him. Wukong can seal Jin Wu away, which Jin Wu hasn't shown to my knowledge to be able to resist, can physically overpower Jin Wu and knock him out due to his superior stats, and especially after his nirvana, and create multiple clones of Jin Wu to overpower him, meaning he doesn't even really have to fight himself, along with many other ways. So yes, while neither can kill each other, only Wukong has ways to truly end this fight. So to summarize everything, while this fight is complicated and wouldn't be really fun to witness, the winner is Sun Wukong with a mid-diff. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you disagreed with anything I said, make sure to comment down below. If you also want to recommend fights, you can comment those in the comments as well, and I'll add them to my list. Anyways, this is Dusty, signing off. Have a wonderful day.